Stardew Valley is a game that does a lot of things, but the main staple and bread and butter of this game is probably undisputably that you have to raise crops and tend to your farm. Most of the game you spend your time planting seeds and watering your plants, harvesting your crops and earning some hard-earned profit. And honestly, earning money in this game is just way too easy, so I decided to do a playthrough while putting strict restrictions on myself. I decided to play and live as only as a florist in Stardew Valley. This idea came to me while doing my playthrough as Life as a Miner, which you should also check out after you're done with the video. The main inspiration for this video is actually my wife. She is a florist, and seeing her every day waking up early in the morning to go to the flower market, tending to her flowers, replacing the water with fresh new water every day, I decided to make a video dedicated to her, although she doesn't watch my videos. Anyway, with that little intro segment aside, here are the rules and objectives for this playthrough. The rules are pretty simple really. First, I wasn't allowed to sell anything else in the shipping bin or to peers except flower related products. This includes any forageables that are considered flowers such as dandelions, sweet peas and etc. Flowers that are bought and raised as crops, i.e. sunflowers, tulips, blue jazz and of the like. And lastly, honey. Specifically, the honey has to be flower typed honey, as allowing just normal honey felt like I wasn't really going with the theme. Now, some of you might argue that honey isn't really flowers and that florists don't really raise bees, but selling normal flowers absolutely makes no profit at all. So for the sake of time and my sanity, I decided that beehives and the honey they produce from flowers is totally okay and fits the theme of flower-based products only. This meant that second, I wasn't able to sell any other crops or items and was only allowed to grow crops and do other farming related things for food or quests. Lastly, completing quests and gaining money from them or from envelopes or events are totally okay. It's just the act of selling that is forbidden. I didn't mention this in my Life as a Miner video, so I thought it would be good to clarify it here. Now, what are the objectives for the next 112 days of a florist in Stardew Valley? First, as always, try to complete the community center. For this playthrough, I remixed the bundles to make it a little bit more difficult. 2. Have a net profit of 1 million G. Third, get married to Haley as she likes a lot of flowers and I thought she fits the theme. And lastly, beautify the farm with flowers and beehives and just in general as well. Now that's out of the way, it's time to get into the real meat of the video. Day 1. The first day of every playthrough starts off as normal, clearing out the farm for some space and planting the first 15 parsnips that you get. I planted this knowing that I couldn't sell them, but they would be a great source of early energy. After planting down the seeds, I made a chest, placed the unnecessary items in it and strolled off. Since I could only sell flowers, I quickly ran to peers to get my first bunch of flower seeds. Only having 500 in the bank meant that I could only get 11 tulips and 9 blue jazz seeds. I was in no rush to plant these seeds, so I walked around greeting the townsfolk and introduced myself to Haley and gave her a dandelion as a gift. After that, I ran around Cindersnap Forest to collect some forageables. I needed to get my forage level up quickly as I needed level 3 in order to be able to craft tappers, which I needed for some maple syrup to craft beehives. I reached back to the farm and started planting my flowers. Hopefully, no crows will eat my precious crops. Fingers crossed. Since money was going to be really tight in the starting, I had to plan in advance how I was going to get crops of food in the CC. Not knowing what bundles I would be getting since it was remixed, I thought about the next best thing besides buying seeds. Mixed seeds. I could only find one for today, but mixed seeds would be very important for me in the future, to raise a variety of crops and also to level up my farming in the future as well. With nothing else too important today, I head to sleep and level up my foraging skill to level 1, and sold 2 flowers for 70 G. The second day started off with me watering the crops and clearing out the farm a little bit more. I broke rocks to look for some coal as I would need it for a future scarecrow in the future. Chopped down a bunch of trees and also scythed pretty much all the grass and weeds on the farm, looking for some mixed seeds. I was able to find and plant down 13 more mixed seeds. Since day 3 is always a rainy day, I didn't have to worry about watering my crops today. I decided to take my time continuing the cleaning and deforesting of my farm. As you may have noticed, I'm chopping down the trees and leaving only the stumps behind. This is because I want to farm seeds from them, in order to raise tree farms for later as I need a lot of lumber for later. After draining most of my energy, I head over to the beach to pick up my rod from Willie. I also gather some beach forage and play with the seagulls at the beach. I go around town, collecting some forage and also cutting down weeds where I can see them for a chance at mixed seeds. I managed to gather 2 more and plant them down and organize my chest and call it a day. I also hit foraging level 2. Day 4, as usual, I start off with watering the crops and do the same routine of cleaning out the farm. Since this requires a lot of manual labor, I was out of energy pretty quickly and decided to use some of the tree seeds I had gathered to create some field snacks. I strategically went around cutting different types of trees one by one in order to gather the corresponding seed, to continuously create field snacks in between while cutting down trees. After an entire day of cutting down trees and clearing out rocks, I hit mining level 1 and gained another level in foraging, which was perfect as now I got the recipe for tappers. Day 5, I woke up to a crow eating 2 of my crops, which was quite unfortunate. That aside, I watered my plants, readied my supply of food and headed down to the mines. The main goal here was to gather as much as ores as I could, as I would need a bunch of sprinklers later down the road. I wasn't looking too much for progress in levels, but I wasn't against it either. I was also making sure to gather what I could to donate to Gunfer, as the initial rewards from the museum would be highly beneficial for me. I made good progress through the mines, reaching floor 9 around 5:10 PM, and I also nicked myself a small magnetic ring from the barrels. I hit floor 10 around 6 PM and netted myself the iron dirk from the chest reward. As you have may noticed, it wasn't the usual leather boots, as I also chose to remix the mine rewards as well, for a bit of variety. This was a good boost to my damage, as I really hated the broken sword for how useless it was. Anywho, I was able to reach floor 15 around 10:30 and I decided to call it a day and headed back home. I chucked all my goodies into that one small chest and called it a day with 62 copper ore. Resting my body, mind and spirit, I reached farming level 1 for that much needed scarecrow craft, and level 2 in mining as well. Day 6 starts off with Clint giving me the recipe for the furnace, as I picked up my very first copper ore yesterday. Then, I harvested 3 parsnips from the mixed seeds, watered my crops, placed the scarecrow in the middle of my plantation, placed 2 furnaces and some additional chests for some extra storage. I decided to leave a chest in my home for tools, one near the pond for fishing related products, another to the left of my house for mining stuff, and the 5th chest purely for flowers only. Before heading over to the mines, I went to the community center to read the mysterious plaque, picked up some cookies from the trash can and gave Haley a daffodil. Back in the mines, I got lucky as I looted another small magnetic ring from a bug. Reached floor 17 around 6:30 with 26 copper, but ran out of food to carry on exploring. I did have that cookie with me, but I didn't want to use it for now as it could appear in the future remixed bundle. Not deciding to take that chance, I went home and ate some parsnips so I could farm the seeds around the tree stumps. I went to sleep and reached level 1 in combat. Sunday started off with me reading the wizard's letter and harvesting my very first harvest of tulips. I put a couple of them in the flower chest for now and carried some of them to sell later at Piers. I also got a potato from the mixed seeds, got some flower forage from the bus stop and went over to Piers. Here is when I realized that the profit margin for flowers was abysmal, as buying a tulip seed was 20G but selling them was only 30G. 6 days of hard labor for a measly 10 profit. I decided that blue jazz was the way to go as it did cost more and had one more additional day of growing, but was still worth more as it made 20G profit instead of 10. I had just a little over 550, pretty much the same amount I started off with. Anyways, I bought 19 blue jazz seeds, as much as my money could spare. And after that sad transaction, I made the mandatory visit to the wizard and now had access to the craft room bundle. Before heading over to the CC to turn in some items, I foraged for some items around Cindersnap Forest, planted my flower seeds, watered everything, gave Haley another daffodil, and turned in my items for the spring forage bundle. This is when I realized, however, that it wasn't a dandelion I needed, but a spring onion for the spring bundle. Having nothing better to do, I went back home, took the spring onion, went back to the CC, and got myself the spring wild seeds as a reward. This in turn also unlocked the fish tank bundle, which I always leave for last, and the pantry bundle. The pantry bundle was my main goal, nay, my main mission, to complete before winter, as it was a must-have for me in order to be able to still make profit during winter, as I needed the greenhouse. Here, I had the usual seasonal crop bundles, but I also had the brewer's bundle, which I probably need to do some research, as I was kinda confused how to get some of these artisan goods. The quality crops bundle had green beans, blueberries, yams and corns, which was very doable, and I was quite pleased with this one. And surprisingly, the garden bundle, which thematically worked with this playthrough as I was playing as a florist. This was also another easy win. The last bundle that I had to work on was the YouTube bundle. Here I needed to make some friends and villagers to like me, enough to subscribe to the channel. Hopefully if they felt generous enough, they would leave a like and comment their favorite part down below. This by far was the hardest bundle, but I was determined to make it work. With a clear-cut goal in mind, I headed back and planted the 30 spring wild seeds I got and turned in for the day. Day 8 started off quite lucky as it was raining. I was able to harvest and sell all of my blue jazz, and I also got 3 extra potatoes from the mixed seeds. Since it was a rainy day, I decided that it would be a good day to hit the mines. As soon as I got in, I was able to loot an ancient seed from some bugs, which was quite good luck. Then, around 12:50, I reached floor 20 and got the coveted wooden club for my chest reward. I got to floor 30 around 9 PM and decided to call it a day and headed back home. I planted 2 more mixed seeds that I found in the mines and hit level 3 in mining, and made 450G in profit from selling the blue jazz. The road to making a meal is going to be a long one, isn't it? Day 9, I was blessed with rain again, so I decided to visit Gunfer to donate what I could, gaining for rewards some cauliflower seeds and the ancient seed to plant as well. I completed Gunfer's quest for 250G, cracked open my geodes, and went back to the museum to donate more. This in turn netted me some melon seeds for summer, which would save me some money for me in the long run. Then, I headed over to Piers, sold the 2 dandelions I had on me, bought 5 bean starters, 7 blue jazz seeds and a tulip, bringing my money all the way back down to 0. The plan with the bean starters was to pray to the RNG gods to be able to harvest at least 5 golden ones before the end of the season. Fingers crossed, everyone. Back on the farm, I planted my newly acquired crops, clearing out the farm and planting 10 of each trees to prepare for tappers. Before sleeping, I made some basic fertilizers from the tree sap that I was holding in order to further increase the chances of higher quality crops. This would be very useful for 2 reasons. First, I really needed 5 gold quality beans, and this would increase the chance of that. And second, higher quality flowers would mean that I would be able to gain a little extra profit from sales. 3 days of rain in a row? I was blessed with another rain day for day 10, which freed me up from my farming duties, so I decided to make another run to the mines. I ended up making good progress for today as I hit level 46 around 10 PM, and I scored a winter root, which I decided to turn into CC on my way home. Day 11. The lucky rain streak was finally over, and day 11 had me using a lot of my initial energy watering the crops. If my field of crops were to get bigger, I had to make some sprinklers fast. After all that watering, I decided to clear out my farm even more, getting all the tree seeds from the ground, mining the rocks, then making some field snacks and heading over to the mines. I got to level 50 around 6 PM and found a silver sword in the reward chest, but decided to just stick with the wooden club for now. I wanted to head down even more, but with no upgraded tools, I burned through all my food and energy rather quickly, so it was time to head back home. I got myself a crystal fruit from the ice part of the mines, so I decided to donate that to the winter foraging bundle in the CC as it was on the way home. Also, by this point, you can assume that every morning when I wake up and before I go to sleep, I'm smelting my ores. I got level 2 combat and level 4 in mining. Day 12 starts off with Marnie giving me my pet dog Sophie, which is actually the real name of my pet King Charles Cavalier dog. Here she is right now, smelling the flowers my wife bought from the market. As usual, I water my crops, then head out to pick up some forageables. I make a quick pit stop at the traveling cart to admire the things I can't buy, as literally I have no money. But a little window shopping never hurt anybody. I gave Haley another daffodil, checked their heart status, and saw that it was still at 0. I was pretty sure that it would have gone up by 1 level by now, but oh well. I spent the rest of the day just clearing the trees on the farm. I do see, however, that I am lacking in maple seeds, so I head down to Snap Forest where there is a bunch of maple trees, which I cut down for some seeds as well. I also pick up Robin's axe. I hit level 4 in foraging. Day 13, you can assume that every morning I'm watering my crops from here on out, as you are probably sick and tired of me telling you that. Besides that, today is the Egg Festival day, which means it's time to pick up my signature straw hat. I'll win the egg hunt competition easily, get my head and head back to home. Day 14 was a big harvest day. My blue jazz and spring forageable crops were ready for harvest. I also got some potatoes and cauliflowers from the mixed seed batch as well. I packed a bunch of flowers to sell at Pierce, but before doing that, I headed over to Robin's to give her her old trusty axe back for 250G. I also gave Haley a gold daffodil for her birthday, which finally increased my relationship with her to 2 hearts. Then finally, it was time for the big profit, the big bucks, selling all the flowers I had. I gained, drumroll please, 1,137G in the bank, which meant that I could buy 37 blue jazz seeds to repeat this insane cycle all over again. Why did I choose this challenge again? Oh right, wife's a florist. I planted the 37 flowers back on the farm, drained all my energy chopping for some more trees, and took a nap till the next day. That big harvest led me to level 2 in farming, which meant I could finally craft some sprinklers. Oh, I also sold some extra jazz seeds, flowers in the shipping bin, which netted me about 699G. Completely forgot about that. Day 15, I went over to Pierce with some extra flowers to sell, and bought about 46 tulip seeds. I know I say tulips don't make much money, but I wanted a bit of variety. Actually, I don't think I was really thinking at this point, as the profit margins were so minuscule, I kinda stopped thinking. But besides that, today was salmonella berry harvesting day. Yes, I know what I said. I also saw Haley doing some paparazzi, so I decided to give her a dandelion, which she didn't like. Here I was thinking she liked all type of flowers. Oops, you learn something new every day, I guess. Back on the farm, I planted the new tulips I got, made sure to make some fertilizers for the extra chance for some extra G, then spent the rest of the day wandering aimlessly around town, foraging what I could. Day 16, another small batch of blue jazz was ready, which meant I could sell some more and rebuy more. Yay! I had enough money for about 13 more seeds, but before planting them, I went around to look for some more salmonella berries. Shh, I know what I'm saying. Someone must have not cooked the chicken, as there was plenty of berries for me to take. I had about 102 berries, which would serve me well as to use as energy food. I didn't have too much of that right now, besides the field snacks that is. I spent the rest of the day just chopping more trees and then went to bed. Finally, reaching level 3 in farming, which would allow me to make beehives, which would be the true money maker of the run. Unfortunately, I don't have any maple syrup at the moment, so that has to be in the works. This means that I needed a bunch of copper bars and iron bars, so day 17 was spent in the mines. On floor 54, I got myself the iron edge from a barrel, a much needed upgrade to my weapon. I also prefer swords than clubs, so it was a welcome sight. I spent quite some time here, but wasn't too successful in getting much resources. I got 36 iron ore, 19 coal, and 40 copper. Yeah, nothing too spectacular. I was blessed with another rainy day on day 18, so with my tools and berries, I quickly headed to the mines. I got quite lucky around floor 56 as there was a lot of iron ore nodes, and around 6:30 I reached floor 60 of the mines and got a cutlass from the rewards chest. However, I thought this was a downgrade from the already powerful iron edge I got yesterday, so I decided not to change weapons. I ended the day with 52 iron ore and 34 copper ore, a much better haul than yesterday. I also got level 5 in mining and chose miner as it was quite a no-brainer as that was the better bang for the buck. And also got level 3 in combat. Day 19 was once again another rain day. Is this normal? I don't think I've had this much rain in the spring season in a playthrough before. This has been like 6 days of rain this season. Not that I'm complaining, but just wow. Anyways, today was the first harvest of the green beans and I was really lucky to get 2 gold quality ones. Just needed 3 more gold ones. This also meant that I was able to turn in the spring crops bundle. I got 20 speed grow as a reward and unlocked the boiler room. Nothing there was too difficult except the engineer's bundle, which required a battery, an iridium ore, and a refined quartz. Nothing too painstakingly difficult, but a little difficult for me right now nonetheless. After that CC trip, I gave Jody the cauliflower she asked for a quick 350G, and it was off to Pierce to buy 5 kale seeds and 5 blue jazz seeds. What's the kale for? I have no idea. Looking back at this, I probably wanted to have it just in case I needed it for something, but who knows what I was thinking. Heck, even I don't know. After planting those seeds, I headed back to the mines for 2 things, copper ores and mixed seeds. Repeating the early stages of the mine, specifically around 20 to 30, I found copper ore and sliced all the fiber I could, hoping for a chance at mixed seeds. These mixed seeds were not to be used right now, but to be used in summer, as buying crops for energy and the CC weren't really something that I could afford right now. I went back home around 12:30, finding 102 copper, 130 fiber, and 7 mixed seeds. Would you believe me if I say day 20 was another rainy day? I swear I'm not cheating, guys, this is legit. I spent the morning organizing my chest, organizing each one for the season, and to the far right of the farm I placed 2 extra chests, one for food and for the other one, the most used items such as tools and crafting material. Then I placed 2 more chests next to the shipping bin as flower chests. Satisfied with the new organization of items, I spent the rest of the time clearing the farm and chopping a bunch of wood in Cinnasnap Forest. My idea here was that instead of farming dust sprites for coals in the mines, I would rather chop the trees needed for the charcoal kiln to make charcoal at home. The logging activity allowed me to reach level 5 in foraging, which I really contemplated over, as Forester would allow me to have more wood to burn for coal, but at the same time Gather would allow me to gather double the flowers I gained from foraging. Thinking long term, iridium quality double foraged flowers would give me more money, I chose Gatherer. Day 21 was another big flower harvest day. A bunch of my tulips and blue jazz were ready, but unfortunately since the flowers grew in different colors, it filled my inventory rather quickly. This meant that I would have to be making multiple trips to Pierce. Since it was still not opened yet, I decided that I would just pre-water the tilled land while waiting. My initial trip to Pierce made me a little richer, as selling the first batch of flowers landed my bank account to $12.79. The second trip increased it to $27.25G, which meant that finally I had enough to buy a bigger bag. Overjoyed with my increased space, I plucked the remainder of the crops, this including the cauliflower, and headed back to Pierce. I looked at the selling price of the cauliflower and really wanted to sell them, as only 4 normal ones would sell for 700G, while as selling all the flowers I had from the third batch only netted me somewhere around 900. Still, a challenge is a challenge, and not wavering, I bought an additional 55 blue jazz seeds and went it home to start the routine once more. After all the planting was done, I took some CC items and donated the gardens bundle, completing the adventurous bundle, and made progress to the geolist bundle as well. My reward was another small magnet ring. Great, a third one. Just what I needed. Sarcasm aside, I gave Haley another daffodil, raising my heart level with it to level 3. Day 22. I start off the day by getting some cookies from mom and harvesting my green beans. Unfortunately, there weren't any gold quality ones today, which made me kinda nervous as I just needed 3 more for the community center. Please let me get some more gold ones before the end of the season. After taking care of my chores, I headed back to the mines to gather some iron ore and coal. I also made some progress in the mines, reaching level 70 around 12:30 AM. I went home satisfied with a bunch of loot. Day 23, another round of blue jazz flowers were ready, and tomorrow was the flower festival. I really wanted to go and dance with Haley, and also because it was thematically appropriate. However, I only had 3 hearts with her. I decided next year would be a better time to go and spent the rest of the day clearing out the farm. I earned $699 from selling my blue jazz today. Day 24. I decided today that I had gathered enough tree seeds to make a huge maple syrup farm. I started planting the maple seeds far west of the farm, close to Grandpa's shrine. The maple syrup will be very important for the crafting of beehives, which I needed a lot of. Previously, I also placed some tappers on the maple trees close to the sewers in the Snap Forest. I kinda forgot when I placed them, so I had to check every day, as I didn't know when they would be ripe for harvest. All that aside, once again, I spent the rest of the day clearing out more debris from the farm. Day 25. My green beans were ready for harvest once more. I managed to get 1 gold quality and 4 silver ones. I just needed 2 more gold ones, cutting it pretty close really. Oh, and also I harvested my kale. I was slowly running out of copper ore and I needed so much more if I was able to craft all the tappers and beehives required. I also needed to prep for summer. With this in mind, I headed to the mines, repeating floor 20 to 25. Siphoning all the fiber I could find for mixed seeds and getting all the copper ore I could manage. I repeated this process till 12 AM and scored about 170 copper ore and 5 mixed seeds, plus over loot naturally. I hit level 6 in mining and 4 in combat. Day 26. Yoba blessed us with another rain day, so I went to the mines to make some progress in the levels, as I would also slowly need some gold ore as well. Progress was quite slow as my pickaxe was still of regular quality, but I did manage to get down to floor 80 around 7:50 PM. Getting a shadow dagger from the rewards chest. Right after, I stumbled upon a mushroom floor, which meant I could get some mushrooms to turn into at the CC. With the time being around 10 PM, I thought it would be a good idea just to farm some iron ore and coal. So I headed down to floor 51 and found out it was an infested floor. If I came here earlier, it would have been really good to farm some dust sprites. However, as I did not want to restart the day, I just spent about 2 hours farming, then headed back home. Today's profit was 274 from a sale of blue jazz that I harvested earlier during the day. Once again, Yoba must have felt sorry for my poor status, so I had another lucky rainy day. With that spring season coming to an end, I decided to get my final prep done in order to make the big bucks in the season of summer. I chopped all the straggler trees on the farm and replanted a huge area to the bottom left. This would serve to be my lumber area for now, as I would need heaps of wood for crafting tappers, beehives, and also to burn charcoal, as beehives required a whopping 8 coal. So pricey. I made 6 charcoal clints to prepare for this and started burning some wood. Day 28. Finally, the last day of spring, and wow, another rainy day. I think a third of the season was in rain. I must be the luckiest florist alive. Anyway, my last harvest of crops were finally here. I got super lucky with the green beans as I got exactly 2 gold quality. I was so happy as I knew I would be getting the greenhouse in year 1. I harvested all the blue jazz and put them in the shipping bin. Realized that Haley's heart level dropped from 3 to 2 because I wasn't paying attention to her, ran over to a place to give her a daffodil, stumbled into a 2 heart event and gave her a gold quality daffodil, and got my heart level back up to 3. I went back home and planted about 100 trees, and reached level 5 in farming, which I chose tiller for the increase in sales, and also level 6 in foraging, and my last spring sale netted me about 3,507. It's all the blue jazz, baby. And that wraps up the season for spring. For life as a florist in Stardew Valley. I'm not gonna lie, this run is way harder than my life as a minor challenge. I never knew flowers were so bad. In my normal playthrough, I always avoided just making flowers and beehives altogether, but since this playthrough forces me to do so, I must admit that it has been a lot of fun strategizing and finding new ways to make things work. If you made it this far, thank you so much, and I would appreciate if you subscribed, leave a like, and comment down below what other challenge runs you would like to see. The best way to keep in track for the next episode of Life as a Florist is to be subscribed and have the notification bell on. This has been Recream of the Indiemasters. Have a great day, everyone.